Welcome to Understanding the Lit Review. This is Jeff Ianson again, and we're going to walk through this to give you an understanding of what you really need to do to master your literature review. The objectives: you will have an understanding of the basics of the lit review process. You will be able to write up lit reviews and complete your literature review completely and efficiently. You will have an understanding of the terms and definitions necessary. The outcomes: understanding of the material which is necessary to properly complete your assignments. Be able to research for scholarly journal articles efficiently. To understand the method of write-up for the lit reviews and complete your literature review. And to increase your writing skills by eliminating extraneous work, therefore producing quality work in less time, which of course we all want. We would like to do this faster, easier, and get quality work without having to spend weeks doing something that could take you, let's say a lit review takes you 3 weeks. Using this method, you could knock a week off of it. You could knock 2 weeks off, depending on how many it is, depending on how many articles you have to pull. I'm going to go through some definitions. Lit review, literature review. Okay, the finished product of an exhaustive review of previous work by other authors. Lit review, you see the difference? Lit review. Some call this an article critique, a dissection of a single journal article which will be part of an entire literature review. Okay, those are my terms, not someone else's terms. You could call it some teachers will call it an article critique, some will call it a lit review. It's a part of it. Okay, keywords. Keywords are words, should be words, or a series of words that you put in a search engine in a library. These words will help you locate articles in the library on your specific subjects. So let's say like burnout or physical education teachers, or motivation, or intrinsic motivation. These are just simple keywords. It could be physical education and team sports. Then you're talking about more of you're adding words and series of words to pull specific articles. Okay, scholarly journal articles. I'm going to be preparing another one to kind of go deeper into scholarly journal articles. I think this is a real factor. Understanding this in that Wikipedia and Google Scholar, and those are not so much an area where you're going to find your journal articles. Now, I like Wikipedia when I don't understand a topic or a word, to give me a starting point, to get me a possible definition that I can do more research to find things out. Statistically, this is important when you're looking for statistical ideas. When you don't understand a word, let's say mean, you type in the word mean, the first thing that's going to come up is answers.com and what will be something else, Wikipedia, and maybe some other small places are going to give you definitions. That's where you start, and that's a great use for Wikipedia. It's not a citable source. Also, scholarly journal articles, such as non-scholarly journal articles like Newsweek, Sporting News, even Coaching Management Magazine. That's on the cusp of yes and no, depending on what it is. Bottom line is, you're looking for scholarly journal articles or peer-reviewed, and most of the time it will say right on the page whether it's scholarly journal articles. Okay. Also, when you start to look at the podcasts for research and what is research, part of good journal articles are going to follow the research template that's in there, such as abstract, introduction. And doesn't always say introduction. It's basically from the abstract to the methodology. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something with an abstract. That's the first key. Does it have an abstract? If it doesn't have an abstract, then you look to see if it was basically brought in from another country like Europe or something like that. Because sometimes when you leave the country, they're not as rigorous in terms of the actual setup of the article. Okay, demographic information. Demographic information is in the journal article, and it's information on your participants, such as age, area lived in, and what sport they play. Process of starting a lit review. Pick a topic. Prepare a purpose statement or thesis statement. So the purpose of this article or the purpose of this study is to, okay, examine the perceptions of physical educators and or middle school physical education students and whether they believe physical education should be a core subject. Make a list of the keywords. Back to keywords such as, like, if we're using that, we're looking at motivation, physical education, middle school physical education students, those kind of words. Something that you can put in the library search engine. Then you do your library search. You dissect the journal articles, use the dissecting articles worksheet to prepare the individual lit review, and then you prepare your final lit review. How this will help you. This class. It will help you in this class in terms of your research paper or your capstone. It will help you when you do your master's thesis. It has helped me all the way through my doctorate. And I've used this method to get through my doctorate, and it was taught to me in my master's program, and I've advanced it as I've been teaching research methods. This will help you in other classes. It will help you in other classes in terms of if you have to look for an article, it will take you less time to do it. You'll be able to pull out the most important parts. And if your professor doesn't know how to do this, they're going to see that you have really looked for an article and found the article and hit all of the major points. Okay? This will help you in your writing. The more you read good scholarly journal articles, the better your writing becomes because you start to see the pattern. Also, the biggest thing is, can you draw a conclusion from what you are reading? And the best thing to do is when you find something that interests you in an article, close your eyes and rewrite it in your head. Okay? Then try to decide, what is it trying to say? That's how you learn how to paraphrase, which will be a whole nother subject coming up soon. But drawing conclusions is one of the biggest things. When you go to, if you're doing comps or you're doing a capstone or a thesis, one of the things that they look for is, can you draw conclusions from the information you have found, from what you know, and also what other authors have said. So putting those together, that's the synthesis that's necessary to push you over the top. Library. I have a good idea about the library, but if this is Fresno Pacific, I have not gotten into the library yet, and I will readjust this as I do. There will be a section for the library video for that, and you need to really get into your library. Librarians, you pay for your education, and part of that pay goes to the library. And if you're paying $2,000 a semester to go to school, even $10 of it might go to the library. But that goes to pay for a librarian. Then most of the time, your librarian, some schools are 24 hours a day. So if you get stuck, you type in something or send them an email. They will help you with keywords. They will help you with research. They won't do the work for you, but they'll give you ideas or they'll give you actual articles that will help you along the way. Bottom line is, I think look at it like when I look at Kickstarter on there as in new projects. I can look at there and say, "Ooh, that's really good. I wish I would have thought of that. I wish oh, here's an idea. I wonder if I could do this idea." Well, that's the same idea. You have a keyword and you exhaust that keyword and you can't find any more, and you go to the librarian and she's been researching for a lot longer than you have, and she says, "Oh, well, try this, this, and this." And all of a sudden, now you've got your 15 articles or 20 articles or 30 articles that you really need to master master your paper, and you're on your way. So please use your library. It has a chat box. Just type it in. I'm having trouble finding articles on this. Do you have any ideas? But you have to be specific. Citations. Citations are one of the toughest areas. How to drop your grade in one easy lesson. Do not take the time to focus on your citations. There are many, many ways to do your citations. You could write them out. You could set them aside and copy and paste them from somewhere. You can do all kinds of things, but there is easy software. EndNote. You can buy EndNote. Put it on your computer. You can then do tutorials on YouTube on EndNote, and end up with where you don't ever have to cite anything. All you have to do is load it into EndNote. It'll do your in-text citings. It'll do the reference page. It'll do everything you need. RefWorks, which is what we have, what is used at some schools, does the same thing. It's a citation manager. All you have to do is export it to RefWorks, and it does it. And the one that's on Fresno Pacific site, which I will be using for all my classes that do not have access to any EndNote or RefWorks, is, I don't even know how to say it, it's Mendeley. It's free. I used it today. It's very easy. You pull the article, you save the article, and you drop it right into Mendeley, and it pulls out the information. I don't know how it works, and personally, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is that it works, and you can do your reference page. It'll set it up in APA 6th edition, which means that you can't make mistakes. All you have to do is check it, and you'll start to get better at it, Also, in the classroom, there is a reference information sheet. You need to study those and make sure that your references look like that. There are nuances to each and every one of them. APA is very, very easy once you get the nuances.